Good morning, great learners. So, welcome to our new lessons for today's session. So, we are now in lesson 2. This is under Homeroom Guidance entitled Discover the Road to Self-Discipline. So, once again, I am your teacher, great teacher Cherry, and welcome to our great community. So for you to be updated, do not forget to follow our online platforms like Facebook, YouTube, at the Great Teachers Academy. So are you excited to learn? Okay, let's get started. So for today's session, again, we're going to talk about discover the road to self-discipline. So in this module, it aims to help you discover self-discipline and its relevance role to as an adolescent, and of course self-discipline and awareness on your role in the family as well as in the community will help you achieve your personal goals and maintain healthy relationships. All right, so let's reveal now our objectives for today's session. At the end of this module, you are expected to, number 1, examine the importance of your role as part of the family and community. So later on, you will realize, or maybe you're going to think of some of the important roles that you have, and specifically sa family as well as sa community. And then, of course, demonstrate personal discipline in managing family and community concerns effectively. And lastly, determine ways on how you manage personal changes towards self-appreciation. So, of course, self-discipline leads you to progress. So, as much as possible, kailangan natin ng this is what we call changes towards self-appreciation. Alright, so let's get started. So I have here a quick activity, So let's break your stock knowledge and let's try this activity. So don't worry, this is an easy activity now. So this is just a refresher. So in this activity, it will help you examine your roles in your family as well as in the community. So what you're going to do is just copy the template on a clean sheet of paper and write your responses under each column. So copyahin nyo lang yan, gawa kayo ng table, ipaghiwalay nyo, separate nyo, gawa kayo ng 2 columns you have there in the family and in the community. And of course, on the upper hand, nakalagay dyan, my roles. Ano nga ba yung role mo sa family as well as sa community? So let's say for example, your role sa family, ikaw yung tagahugas ng plato, or ikaw yung naglilinis ng kwarto, naglilinis ng CR, naglilinis ng kitchen, or you are the one who is going to cook or prepare foods for your family. So, pwede yun. Lagay nyo dyan. And then, for the community naman, pwede din po yung volunteer ka as a youth teacher. May mga ganon. Okay? So, pwede nyong ilagay yan. Okay? So, those are some examples na wherein pwede nyo din pong isulat. So, your timer starts now. Alright, time's up, So, now let's reveal the guide question. So, after this activity, syempre meron po tayong mga processing questions. So, processing question number 1, after you made the activity, what do you think is your most important role in the family? And how about in the community? So, this one class, pwede nyong pagbasihan yung ginawa nyo kanina, yung table. So, maybe you consider it as the most important role yung nasa unahan na column or yung nasa unahan na row. Pwede nyong isulat yun as the most important one sa family and sa community. And then you are going to explain bakit yun yung napili mo. And then number 2, how do you compare your role in the family and community? So, diba, may question nga, diba, that ano yung ambag mo sa community or ano yung ambag mo sa family. So how are you going to compare the two? Diba? And then lastly, given a chance to change any of your roles, what particular role will you change? Explain your answer. So let's say for example, sa role mo sa family, ang nilagay mo doon, ikaw yung nagbabantay ng mga kapatid mo habang wala yung parents mo. So, pwede mong, you decided to change that one. So, given a chance, no, pinalitan mo, and then, ano yung ipapalit mo, and then, of course, explain your answer. Okay? So, your timer starts now. Alright, so time's up. So I hope tapos na ang lahat, no? So now let's proceed to the lesson proper. Okay, so discover the road to self-discipline. Of course, diba, as you mature, diba, habang nagkakaedad tayo, you will realize that along with your personal changes, there are also changes in your role in the family and in the community. Kung dati, nung grade 1 ka pa lang, yung role mo somehow is yung maglaro lang, maging happy na bata lang. Ngayon, grade 10 ka na, medyo lumawak na, or medyo madami ka ng role sa bahay. Let's say, ikaw na yung tagaluto, ikaw na yung tagahugas ng pinggan, diba? So those are some of the roles na ginagampanan nyo every day sa family. No? As an adolescent, you can already demonstrate personal discipline in managing your personal, family, and community concerns. So this includes life skills development, establishment of healthy relationships, and of course, becoming a productive citizen. So as much as possible, diba? Kahit simple acts lang yan. Simple acts, no, can be considered as a productive one. So let's say, sa community, tumulong ka sa pag-segregate ng basura. So sa bahay pa lang, sinesegregate mo na ng maayos yung garbage nyo. So that is a big help, no, sa community. No? Kasi yun nga, nakatulong ka na sa environment, nakatulong ka din sa community nyo. Kasi hindi na sila mahihirapan sa pag-segregate kasi naayos mo na. So being responsible during this critical time would benefit not just yourself, but also your family and community. So this pandemic challenges everyone to perform their respective roles, even if it would entail greater sacrifices. So before, talagang malaya tayong lumabas ng walang face mask. Pero ngayon, kailangan natin magdala ng alcohol, kailangan natin magdoble ingat, diba? Before nga, diba, nung last 2020, ang nangyayari, pag once may ubo ka lang, parang nilalayuan ka na kaagad. So, greater sacrifices yung iba, pag may sakit, syempre mag-stay at home na lang. And then yung iba naman, kailangan kumayod, kailangan mag-sacrifice, no, ng time nila, ng effort, ng talent para lang kumita. Okay? So in performing your role, it is necessary that you develop self-discipline. So here are some steps, no, that you can follow to achieve self-discipline, or some tips, no, that you can follow to achieve self-discipline. Number 1, you must know and acknowledge your weaknesses. So as much as possible, dapat aminado ka sa sarili mo na, let's say, ikaw yung role mo sa family is ikaw yung tagaluto. Pero since you are in grade 10, hindi pa ganun kalawak yung understanding mo when it comes to cooking. Diba? May mga dishes ka na hindi pa kayang gawin. So, let's say, someone asks you, uy, marunong ka bang magluto ng menudo? And then, syempre, you know to yourself na hindi pa. So, but, diba, may kasunod. Hindi pa, pero, inaaral ko po siya. Okay? Hindi pa, pero somehow nanonood ako ng video sa YouTube, diba? Or sa Facebook para lang matutunan ko yung dish na yan. Okay? So, somehow, diba, you look for this one, a way on how to improve that skills of yours. So, change starts from identifying your weaknesses, be humble enough to own them, and do something to start improving yourself. It may not be easy, but it's worth a try. Okay? So, again, number one, you must know and acknowledge your weaknesses. Number two, okay, keep clear goal and have action plan. So as much as possible, no, be specific on what you want to achieve. So kailangan, kung meron kang goal na pinangahawakan, dapat meron ka ding action plan. Hindi pwedeng gusto kong maging ganito pero wala kang ginagawa. So as much as possible, 'di ba? Self-discipline. Okay? Self-discipline, kailangan kumilos ng kumilos. Meron dapat action plan kung paano mo gawin kung paano mo marating yung goal na yun. No? So your goal will serve as your guide in planning your actions. Having a clear goal would mean better action plan and efficient use of time, resources, and energy. So syempre, pag meron tayong clear goal, no, meron din tayong action plan na kailangan gawin para yung goal na yun maabot natin or magawa natin. Okay? So that is number 2. Next, number 3 tips, no? Number 3, commit to develop self-discipline. So as much as possible, seryosohin natin, no? Yung pagkakaroon ng self-discipline. Commitment is the key. Hindi pwedeng ngayong araw na to, okay, nag-aral ka ng skills, ng new skills, pero the next day, tinamad ka na. So dapat, no, consistency is the key para, yun nga, maabot mo or ma-achieve mo yung goal na gusto mo. Kung gusto mong matuto ng another skills, kung gusto mong matutong magluto ng ganitong dish, syempre pag-aralan mo. You have action plans and then commit, no, to that action plans. Hindi pwedeng ngayon okay ka, kinabukasan, wala na, hindi mo na ginawa. Okay? So deciding to achieve a certain level of self-discipline is never easy. Pero, again, discipline would mean doing things whether you like it or not. It means doing the right things at all costs, which oftentimes give discomforts that may drive you away from doing it. So as much as possible, kailangan maging consistent lang talaga. Okay, tuloy-tuloy lang. Kung ano yung ginawa mo para ma-improve yung skills na yun for the first day, sa second day, improve lang ng improve hanggang sa makuha mo na siya. Okay? So kailangan meron tayong serious commitment to develop self-discipline. Alright, so number 4, learn to avoid distractions. As much as possible, kung meron kang goal na gusto mong ma-achieve, diba? Be serious on it, be committed on it, and at the same time, pag committed ka na, syempre, kailangan nakafocus ka lang doon. Wala dapat distractions. Okay, so, ma'am, can you give me a distraction? Pwede po yung cellphone. No? Cellphone, kasi you're exposing yourself to maybe Facebook, no? TikTok, pwede yan mag-cause ng distraction. So pag once kasi may ginawa kang, may inaral kang skills, and then somehow sinilip mo yung cellphone mo, chinek mo lang saglit yung Facebook mo, pero yung saglit na yon, no, hanggang sa lumipas na yung 1 hour, 2 hours, hanggang sa wala ka talagang nagawa at the end of the day. So, sayang lang, diba? So, as much as possible, ilayo muna natin yung self natin to distractions, or you should avoid, no, distractions like televisions, diba? Pag nanonood ka ng TV, somehow hindi mo naman 100% makukuha or ma-absorb yung information na inaaral mo. So, pag ganun, na-distract ka na. So, somehow, dapat you should avoid distractions. Okay, lalo na't nasa bahay lamang tayo. So, syempre, consistency, again, is the key. So, kailangan matuto lang talaga tayo na ilayo yung sarili natin to distractions. All right, so that is number 4. Next, number 5. So create simple and doable routines. So again, ulitin ko, consistency is the key. So hindi pwedeng aaralin mo siya the first day, the second day hindi na. Hindi pwedeng ganon. So kailangan kung meron kang gustong ma-achieve na skills, kung meron kang gustong aralin na skills, dapat meron kang self-discipline. Okay? By doing it every day hanggang sa ma-master mo na siya. Okay? So, kailangan meron kang doable routine. So, let's say you want to, gusto mong matutong magluto, no, ng specific dish. So, aside from watching videos and then hindi mo kaagad siya itatry kasi syempre sayang yung mga recados, 'di ba? Yung mga recipes. Sayang. So, hindi mo siya pwedeng itry ng actual habang nanonood ka ng video. Hindi pwede 'yon. So, kailangan it's either mag-observe ka someone who is more knowledgeable than you. Let's say your parents, no? May mga time na sila yung nagluluto. So, pwede kang mag-observe na magtanong-tanong ka din sa kanila na, maganan pala yung paghiwa ng ganito, ganyan. Yes. Okay, so yung mga ganong routine. Okay, so have some observation or have some, this one, yung courage, no, to have this or to do this doable routines that you have. Pag once yan, ginawa mo siya ng ginawa, no, every day, naging consistent ka lang, ayan, hanggang sa ma-master mo na siya. Okay? Creating simple and doable routines will help you in developing self-discipline. Okay? So next, number 6, the last one, create a backup plan. So as much as possible, kung meron kang goal na gustong ma-achieve, di ba? You have this action plan. And then, aside from that, kailangan meron ka ding backup plan. Kasi, yun nga, pag once kasi hindi mo siya ma-reach yung goal na yun because of the action plan that you made was not success, it will lead you to frustrating situation. So, which is, ayaw mong mangyari yon. So, as much as possible, meron dapat tayong plan A, plan B, or plan C hanggang plan D or kahit mga ilan pa yan, basta meron tayong plano. Or kasi yun nga, may tinatawag tayong change of plan. 'Di ba? Kasi hindi natin alam yung mangyayari the next day. 'Di ba? So, having a backup plan will help you managing setbacks or failures. Not being able to achieve your goal in a specific time may be frustrating, but these backup plans will give you a better opportunity to replan and strategize your next steps. Okay? So again, those are the tips, no, that you can follow to achieve self-discipline. Okay? So that's the end of our lesson. So now let's move on to assessment. So this one is for me to check that you have learned something today. Let's have this quick activity. So in this activity, you're going to read each situation under column A and then answer the question under column B. So write your answers on a clean sheet of paper. So, ang gagawin nyo lang, syempre, simply copy this table, situation A and situation B. You may pause the video para may time kayo to, to copy the situations or the table itself. So, for situation number 1, no, you were tasked to assess your younger siblings in their schoolworks. You also have difficulties with your schoolworks. Yung letter B, how are you going to apply self-discipline in this situation? So, ikaw yung naasahan or ikaw yung inassign ng parents mo to assess your younger siblings when it comes to their homework. Pero, meron ka ding problem when it comes to your schoolwork. So ano yung gagawin mo? How are you going to apply self-discipline in this situation? So kailangan, syempre, tandaan natin, di ba? You need to have this clear goal and of course have some action plans. And as much as possible, pwede din, lagay nyo dyan. Learn to avoid distractions. Kasi yun nga, baka malay mo kaya ka nagkaroon ng difficulty sa schoolwork kasi nga, babad ka sa cellphone. 'Di ba? So most of the time, kapiling mo or talagang kaharap mo lagi yung cellphone. Hindi yung mga notebooks or yung assignment mo. So you need to have clear goals and at the same time, have some action plan and maybe also learn to avoid distractions. Pwede yun. Pwede mo siyang ilagay dito sa letter B. Okay, and then number 2, your friend invited you to join them in their volunteer work after class. You really like to join them. However, you still need to finish your modules and learning outputs. So again, be clear with your goals. Kung gusto mo ko talagang makatulong, pwede naman. But with the help of time management. So pwede mong gawin yung module mo muna, unahin mo muna yon before ka tumulong dun sa volunteer work. Okay? So for sure, bibigyan ka naman nila ng chance. And then lastly, number 3, your neighbor is about to celebrate her 18th birthday and she invited your family to attend. The party will be joined by relatives and friends from different places, but you are all aware on the health protocols relative to COVID-19. So somehow ngayon, medyo maluwag na sila when it comes to health protocols. And then how are you going to apply self-discipline in this situation? A-attend ka ba? Or do you have any backup plans? No? Or ano ba, sasabihin mo ba sa relative mo na or sa neighbor mo na you have also an important things that needs to do, no? Kailangan meron kang backup plan on this. So pwede 'yon. Pwede mo siyang ilagay dito sa situation sa column B. Okay? Alright, time's up. So now let's move on to part 2, no? So this one naman class is, of course, you're going to promise yourself, no, that you're going to commit, no, self-discipline. So how do you plan to practice self-discipline? Write your commitment on a clean sheet of paper. So you're just going to complete the statement. My commitment to self-discipline, I write your name and your age. A great learner commit to practice self-discipline through, pwede mong i-enumerate dyan kung ano yung mga dapat mong gawin para makommit mo yung sarili mo to self-discipline. Okay? So, pwedeng higit pa sa 3 yung sagot ha. Pwede yan. Okay? Timer starts now. Okay, time's up. So now let's proceed to the last part, no? Reflection time. Okay, so of course, kanina bang nagde-discuss, no? How do you feel, no? After realizing that now that you're in grade 10 or now that you're in 10th grade, no? You have now somehow an important role to play in your family and in your community. So, ano yung naramdaman mo? Do you feel pressured or do you feel happy about it? Excited ka ba na gawin itong mga role na to? Okay? So, isulat mo lang yan sa clean sheet of paper. Okay? So, again, write your feelings or what do you feel after realizing that as a grade 10 learner, you now have an important role to play in your family and in your community. Kasi again, habang nagkakaedad tayo, lumalawak yung role natin, no? So, siguro yung mga roles natin sa family as well as sa community, if we're going to elaborate or enumerate those roles that we have, siguro hindi siya kasya sa isang papel, no? Pero, yun nga, how did you feel? Or how do you feel? Do you feel happy, excited, no? Okay? So, that's all. Great learners. Thank you for watching, no? And I hope to see you again, great learners, for our next video lesson. Okay, so remember that here in Great Teachers Academy, we make complex lessons easy to understand. Goodbye and see you again.